Hello and welcome once again to Living and Active. Welcome to this video in the Analytical Hermeneutics playlist. So, for those of you who are not hanging out in the community tab, posts tab, whatever of this channel, you don't know that I have committed before the Lord that I am only going to use my laptop and smartphone on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I don't have a sleep cycle or a light dark cycle. That's fair game, and this sounds very legalistic, but whatever. I said Tuesdays and Thursdays to the Lord, committed to Him to not be drawn in by all of the things that I might otherwise come across if I spend too much more time online. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the only days I am allowing myself access to my laptop and to my smartphone. Midnight to midnight, both days. And that means everything. That means checking emails, writing emails. That means online shopping. That means checking orders with the things I bought online. That means anything having to do with YouTube, posting videos, checking comments, all of that. Anything, even checking my bank accounts and balancing my accounts and all that. Anything that I need my smartphone or my laptop to do is going to happen on a Tuesday or a Thursday, or it's not going to happen. That's what I've committed before the Lord. Not saying that anybody else needs to follow suit. This is the decision that I've made in my desire to have the Lord find me running towards Him, as if it were spiritually to meet Him halfway, as I'm waiting for Him to come halfway and descend from heavens with a shout to the clouds and gather us all to His side. There's still 5.5 hours left of that 24-hour period. So I could, if I really wanted to drag out, until the last possible minute, the time that I've allowed myself to use my devices, and just kind of doom scroll through YouTube or whatever else, constantly check emails for updates, whatever. But because of the last break that I had from Sunday evening through yesterday until midnight, and then I started checking emails, whatever, right at midnight or a little after. But I was able to progress during that time away. I was able to progress many things during the internet fast, and I liked it. And a lot of the things that I have that aren't finished yet are projects that I'm really excited about doing. And so I'm going to I have things all set up and ready to go, and I'm not going to wait for the 24-hour free for all internet time to expire before I get launched on them. But I also don't want to forget that I need to do this video because I got caught up in all of the other things I'd rather be doing anyway. So that's why I'm doing this video now, and I may or may not see any kind of feedback or anything else until Thursday. And then after that, it will be the following Tuesday, and that's going to be a great 4-day weekend for me because I already know what I'm going to do with it. Anyway, this video is necessary. I've been saying for a little bit that I need to make a correction to something I said about Isaiah 40:31. In case you don't know what Isaiah 40:31 says, It is, they who wait upon the Lord shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. They will renew their strength. I got that out of order. Sorry. I said something somewhere, and I still haven't found it to get rid of it. But I said something uh, that really just watered down the importance of the passage, and it was, no, it wasn't even. It was, it gave the more dangerous part. It wasn't that I had really twisted it, but the way I had twisted it, just trying to make a point, truly diminished something that Jesus said. And that's why it's so important for me to either find it and delete it or make this correction. So since I haven't found that video yet to delete it, uh, I'm going to make this correction and then continue looking for the thing to delete. Um, so the thing about the book of Isaiah is, if anybody has been paying attention, it is of immeasurable prophetic value for verifying the messiahship of Jesus. Isaiah is what Jesus was reading when he said, um, when he read in the synagogue uh, that he had come to set the prisoners free, make the blind see, and all that other good thing. And then they took up stones to do away with him because they realized exactly what he was saying. Uh, Obviously, Isaiah 53, the most hated section of scripture in many parts of the world, because it undeniably reveals Jesus to be the Messiah. And there's so many things about his coming, about his life, about his future reign and everything that are in Isaiah, that anything um, anything at all in the book of Isaiah, pretty much anything in scriptures really is pointing its way to Jesus. But anything you get sloppy with in Isaiah has the potential side effect of diminishing someone's view or altering someone's understanding of the character of Jesus Christ. And so what I had said incorrectly about Isaiah 40:31 was that um, it it could be taken to mean that um, those who are weary um, uh, will eventually renew their strength, or those who run at some point will be rejuvenated so they don't faint. Those who uh, or so that they don't grow weary, and those who walk will at some point be strengthened again so that they don't faint. But there's nothing saying that we won't come to the verge of um, utterly failing, of fainting, and of growing absolutely weary. Um, and we have things in part now, and all things in full in the future, which is true. But the way I had said it and put it all together, I can't even remember how exactly I had constructed that. But I was convicted very quickly of it within the next day or two after recording it and posting it, that I had actually said things that people could take and lay against what Jesus said about, all you who are weary and are heavily burdened, come unto me, and I will give you rest. What I'd said about Isaiah 40:31 seemed to be a direct challenge to Jesus' promise to, in real time, on a continual basis, in these lives, in these bodies, to give us a ministry of rest. I don't know why I said what I had said. I don't even remember the point that I was trying to make, what I was trying to tie into, but I confess and I apologize for the errant presentation of the word. So, to correct that, I'm shooting this whole video and I'm going to give you the entire context because what one of the things that needs to happen in analytical hermeneutics is you need to understand the entire historical and textual uh, setting that these verses that we love to cherry pick and throw around like greeting cards actually come from. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I have for you, says the Lord, thoughts of good and not of evil, so that I love King James Version for this, so I'm going to say it here. So that you may come to an expected end, a destiny and an outcome that I, being God, which He is, have foreseen, have crafted for you. This whole hope in a future nonsense, I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's the better translation, but I think so that you may come to an expected end is actually a better proclamation of the character and intent of God. So I actually give a kudos to the King James Version for that phrasing. But the context of that is that God is talking to the nation of Israel through Jeremiah while they are in captivity. And he's having Jeremiah instruct the people, yes, you're in a foreign land, you've been removed from the land, you're inside a walled city, but I want you to marry and give your sons and daughters to be married. I want you to run your businesses, plant your crops that they let you have, your little gardens, make your bread. Go on about life as if you are the people of God. Instead of seeing the walls of the city that you're in, that you've been exiled to, as prison walls keeping you in, see them as a fortress keeping you safe from the enemies who otherwise would be running roughshod over you if you weren't in Babylon. Let the soldiers and the city and the infrastructure of Babylon support you, grow and prosper while you're in exile so that people can know me in the middle of your correction. And that's what Jeremiah 29:11 means. The much larger context of Isaiah 40:31 proceedeth thusly. At that time, Merodach-Baladan, son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a gift to Hezekiah since he heard that he had been sick and had recovered. Hezekiah was pleased with the letters, and he showed the envoys his treasure house, the silver, the gold, the spices, and the precious oil, and all his armory, everything that was found in his treasuries. There was nothing in his palace and in all of his realm that Hezekiah did not show them. Then the prophet Isaiah came to King Hezekiah and asked him, what did these men say, and where did they come to you from? Hezekiah replied, they came to me from a distant country, from Babylon. Isaiah asked, and what have they seen in your palace? Hezekiah answered, they have seen everything in my palace. There isn't anything in my treasuries that I didn't show to them. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord of armies, the Lord of hosts. Look, the days are coming when everything in your palace and all that your fathers have stored up until today will be carried off to Babylon. Nothing will be left, says the Lord. Some of your descendants who come from you, whom you father, will be taken away, and they will become eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Then Hezekiah said to Isaiah, the word of the Lord that you have spoken is good, for he thought, there will be peace and security during my own lifetime. That's how selfish and arrogant Hezekiah was in this. He said, well, this is going to happen to my children, not to me, so all is well. He continues his quote. This is Hezekiah speaking. Comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and announce to her that her time of forced labor is over. Her iniquity has been pardoned, and she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. Voice of one crying out, prepare the way of wilderness. That's the end of Hezekiah's quote. Voice of one crying out, prepare the way. I don't know. Hang on. I may have gotten this wrong too. This is a long quote. Let me make sure. Hang on. I need to reset where I'm at and make sure I'm not. I think this is all Hezekiah here. Hang on. I'm reading my migraine Bible, so it's incredibly large print, so it takes a while to get through the whole thing. I think this is all still the same quote. This may not be Hezekiah speaking. Hang on. I think this is Isaiah now. Okay. Anyway, I was wrong again. This happens. Hezekiah said to Isaiah, the word of the Lord that you have spoken is good, for he thought, there will be peace and security during my lifetime. Comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and announce to her that her time of forced labor is over, her iniquity has been pardoned, and she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins. A voice of one crying out, prepare the way of the Lord in the wilderness, make a straight highway for our God in the desert. Every valley will be lifted up, and every mountain and hill will be leveled, and the uneven ground will become smooth, and the rough places a plain. And the glory of the Lord will appear, and all humanity together will see it, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. A voice was saying, cry out. Another said, what should I cry out? All humanity is grass, and all his goodness is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flowers fade, when the grass withers and the flowers fade when the breath of the Lord blows on them. Indeed, the people are grass. The grass withers, the flowers fade, but the word of our God remains forever. Zion, herald of good news, go up on a high mountain. Jerusalem, herald of good news, raise your voice loudly. Raise it, do not be afraid. Say to the cities of Judah, here is your God. See, the Lord God comes with strength, and his power establishes his rule. His wages are with him, and his reward accompanies him. He protects his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in his arms and carries them in the fold of his garment. He gently leads those that are nursing. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, or marked off the heavens with the span of his hand? Who has gathered the dust of the earth in a measure, or weighed the mountains on a balance, and the hills on the scales? Who has directed the Spirit of the Lord, or who gave him counsel? Who did he consult? Who gave him understanding and taught him to paint the paths of justice? Who taught him knowledge and showed him the way of understanding? Look, the nations are like a drop in the bucket. They are considered as a speck of dust on the scales. He lifts up the islands like fine dust. Lebanon cedars are not enough for fuel, or its animals enough for a burnt offering. All the nations are as nothing before him. They are considered by him as empty nothingness. With whom will you compare God? What likeness will you set up for comparison with him? An idol? Something that a smelter casts and a metal worker plates with gold and makes silver chains for? A poor person contributes wood for a pedestal that will not rot. He looks for a skilled craftsman to set up an idol that will not fall over. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been declared to you from the beginning? Have you not considered the foundations of the earth? God is enthroned above the circle. God is enthroned above the circle of the earth. Its inhabitants are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like thin cloth and spreads them out like a tent to live in. He reduces princes to nothing and makes judgments of the earth like a wasteland. They are barely planted, barely sown. Their stem hardly takes root in the ground when the wind blows on them, when he blows on them and they wither, and a whirlwind carries them away like stubble. To whom will you compare me, or who is my equal? Asks the Holy One. Look up and see. Who created these? He brings out the stars by number. He calls all of them by name. Because of his great power and strength, not one of them is missing. Jacob, why do you say? And Israel, why do you assert? My way is hidden from the Lord, and my claim is ignored by my God. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the whole earth. He never becomes faint or weary. There is no limit to his understanding. He gives strength to the faint and strengthens the powerless. Youths may become faint and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary, and they will walk and not faint. Be silent before me, coasts and islands, and let peoples renew their strength. Let them reproach. I'm having problems today. I apologize. Let them approach. Let them testify. Let's come together for the trial. Who has stirred up someone from the east? In righteousness he calls him to serve. The Lord hands nations over to him, and he subdues kings. He makes them like dust with his sword, like wind-driven stubble with his bow. He pursues them, going on safely, hardly touching the path with his feet. Who has performed and done this, calling the generations from the beginning? I am the Lord, the first and the last. I am he. The coasts and islands see and are afraid. The whole earth trembles. They approach and arrive. Each one helps the other and says to one another, take courage. The craftsman encourages the metal worker. The one who flattens with the hammer encourages the one who strikes the anvil, saying of the soldering, it is good. He fastens it with nails so that it will not fall over. But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, descendant of Abraham, my friend, I have brought you from the ends of the earth and called you from its farthest corners. I said to you, you are my servant. I have chosen you. I have not rejected you. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will hold on to you with my righteous right hand. So, there you go. I took 4031 and I stretched it out too much, maybe twisted around a bit too much to make a point that left a lot of room for the actual context of the passage to be misunderstood. And like I said previously, this whole picture of Israel being uh, basically absolved of their sins and everything else, and redemption and deliverance is coming, being comforted by this promise found in Isaiah of the coming Messiah and the redemption of Israel, in which 4031 is included. Uh, and the Lord's own promise and a reminder of this, that he does give rest to the weary who are his and come to him, that he, being lowly in spirit, his yoke is easy and his burden is light, and that we will find rest in him. But he does say that we who are weary and heavy laden are to come to him. So I handled the passage incorrectly. It was a fleeting thing. Apparently, I didn't even catch it until sometime later when I was convicted of it. I still haven't found that mention of it. But like I said, whatever the content is for the rest of the video, that video is going to disappear. And if there's something of value elsewhere in the video that needs to be preserved, I will reshoot the whole rest of the video. But here's the correction of it right now. Absolutely no one should be under the impression that we have to certain up to a certain quota of anguish or weariness or whatever before the Lord will stand on his faithfulness to his word, his character, and his promises to deliver us. That's not it at all. We are weary. We are heavily laden, and that is a fact. And it happens repeatedly to us. At every single time it does, we're not expected to carry it. We're expected to go to the Lord and seek comfort and rest from Him. So I doubt anybody was swayed from their previously held faith in Jesus Christ to give them rest by what I said, but because you never know who's going to come across these things, I'm going to point out my error with a sense of urgency, because people do not need to be misunderstanding that Jesus meant what he said when he gave that promised offer of rest for those who are downtrodden, heavily burdened by the hands of others, um, just weighed down with all of the things that weigh us down. So forgive me. Um, that's the correction and the context, and it's framing. It is framing. The reason why I included the Hezekiah bit was because um, this prophecy was given, this word was given to the nation of Israel in response to Hezekiah's folly to say, well, then what the Lord has said is going to happen to the next generation, or in the next generation, which was the exile to Babylon that Jeremiah would be speaking from later. It's not going to happen in my lifetime. It's not going to happen to me personally, so whatever. So that flippancy, um, this comfort was given to Israel in the face of that kind of arrogance and um, lack of empathy for what his own people were going to suffer in just a few years. So, uh, yeah, this was a necessary video to make, and I didn't want it to let it rest until Thursday before I did it. This needed to be done today, so now it's done, and I pray that people find it and are comforted by the fact that the Lord is faithful, that the Lord has promised rest and respite that is not coming from the hands of men. I promise you, there's absolutely no good coming from anything promised by or threatened by or whatever uh, unrighteous man. If you want peace, if you want security, if you want comfort, you have to turn to the word of the Lord and take him at his word that what he has said he will do. And that includes giving rest to the weary. So there it is. Until next video, if there is a next one, and there might not be, go with God and know that he is always with you.